Welcome back, error analysts. You're tuned in to a very special report from the Human Error News Network. Today, we're diving straight into a brand new explainer covering a massive, multi-thousand-dollar local government failure. Honestly, it is an absolute masterclass in how tiny administrative oversights can literally explode into massive real-world consequences.
Now, I want you to stop whatever you're doing and really think about this for a second. How on earth does a simple, completely harmless paperwork typo end up putting a secret police microphone right in a toddler's backyard? Just picture it. A mom walks out into her yard, her kids are playing, and boom, she finds an unapproved surveillance device quietly listening in. How does that even happen? Well, I'm not going to give you the answer just yet, but let me tell you, the administrative trail of crumbs we're about to follow is absolutely going to blow your mind.
So let's talk about you for a second. I know exactly why you're here. You're the kind of person who actually reads the fine print, right? And I'd bet good money you've watched the rapid rollout of cameras, sensors, and microphones popping up in your own community and thought to yourself, is this smart city tech actually helping? Or is it just a poorly managed surveillance dragnet? You watch local governments rush to buy all these shiny new tools, and deep down, you're worried that literally nobody is doing the basic administrative math or, checking the guardrails. Well, look, you are absolutely not alone in that struggle. Take Kat Vaughn, a homeowner in Roanoke, Virginia. She was just walking home from the park with her two young neurodivergent kids when she spotted this weird piece of hardware mounted mere yards from her house. She told reporters, "I feel nervous all the time, just in my own home, because I don't know who's listening, how much of our conversations have been recorded that we just don't know about." It's a terrifying realization, honestly. We all want safe neighborhoods, sure, but nobody wants to feel like a suspect in their own backyard.
And that's exactly why we're doing this report. Here at the Human Error News Network, my entire job is to help you detect, prevent, and correct these exact types of systemic failures. And this case brilliantly highlights the core conflict. We are constantly sold these massive promises of reduced crime, right? We see thousands upon thousands of grant and taxpayer dollars spent. But when we actually dig into the paperwork, we find zero oversight on the basic execution. Let's break down exactly how this happened so you can spot these red flags in your own backyard. Section 1. A colossal administrative failure. Let's map out this breaking case study out of Roanoke, Virginia, because honestly, the speed of this total collapse is just staggering. This is exactly where the promise of high-tech safety violently collided with basic human error. Okay, so in April 2026, the Roanoke City Council approved permits for 75 Flock Raven gunshot audio detectors. This was all funded by a $57,000 grant. Fast forward to mid-June, and residents like Kate Vaughn start finding these microphones in completely random locations that were never approved by the City Council. The backlash was immediate. Following massive citizen complaints, the city had to totally pause the program. And then, just days ago, on July 6th, the City Council voted unanimously to repeal the whole thing. A total collapse in under 3 months. Remember that question I asked you at the very beginning? How does a typo put a microphone in a toddler's yard? Well, here is your answer. When the city compiled the actual installation list, they made a massive data entry error. We're talking duplicate addresses and just basic misspellings. For example, Orange Avenue was accidentally typed out as Greenwich Avenue. That's it. Because of this totally basic failure to proofread a spreadsheet, 30 of the 41 devices that were installed ended up in the entirely wrong, unapproved locations. Naturally, the city had to publicly admit to this mess. City manager Valmari Turner flat out stated, "A preventable city process failure resulted in a rollout that fueled distrust about our use of public safety technology. It was, as state reps noted, a colossal administrative failure. Now, the hardware is literally being ripped down. It's the ultimate example of human error totally overriding artificial intelligence. But honestly, it begs a much, much larger question." Section 2. The 90% illusion. Let's be real for a second. Even if they had spelled the streets correctly, does this technology actually even work? Because the gap between the sales pitch and reality is wild. The vendor, Flock Safety, claimed their Raven system is 90% accurate. Another company, SoundThinking, who makes the popular ShotSpotter system, claims 97% accuracy. But when we look at actual independent audits from cities using this tech, the story completely flips. In Champaign, Illinois, a trial run found the system was only 8% accurate at confirming gunfire. The Chicago Office of Inspector General found their system led to evidence of a gun-related crime just 9% of the time. And in New York City, The comptroller's audit found a dismal 13% confirmation rate.
Let's zoom in on Champaign, Illinois, really quick, because this perfectly illustrates what we're talking about. Over a 6-month trial of the Flock Raven system, exactly 64 total alerts were sent to police. Out of those 64, a staggering 59 were unfounded. Just 5 were actual gunshots. So what was this multi-$1,000 AI actually hearing? Cars backfiring and fireworks. In fact, fireworks triggered the system 21 times. Just imagine the potential for human error here, dispatching armed police officers at high speeds into a neighborhood all because a machine confused a bottle rocket for a firearm.
Section 3. Feature creep and privacy.
Wake up, error analysts, because the stakes are about to change entirely. Think about it. If these high-tech microphones struggle to tell the difference between a firecracker and a firearm, what happens when they start listening for more? We need to talk about a concept called feature creep. This is when a piece of technology sold to the public for one very specific, usually highly agreeable function, like stopping gun violence, quietly updates its software to monitor entirely new things the public never actually voted on. According to a chilling recent report by the Electronic Frontier Foundation, Flock Safety has actually been pushing new features for their Raven product. Their own marketing materials revealed the device's ability to alert police based on sounds like human distress and screaming. Let that sink in for a second. The exact same microphones parked right above densely populated city streets are now being pitched as tools to listen to human voices. The EFF rightly points out that we have absolutely no idea how this interacts with state eavesdropping laws meant to protect private conversations. A tool sold to detect guns is essentially morphing into a massive, widespread audio surveillance net.
Section 4. Correcting the human error.
So, how do we, as informed citizens, actually correct the human error here? How do we collaborate to make sure our own cities aren't making these same catastrophic administrative blunders? Well, you have the power to step up as a citizen auditor. Step 1, demand to verify the installation address lists. Don't just trust that the paperwork is right. As we just saw in Roanoke, it can be wildly, dangerously wrong. Step 2, check the vendor's contract against actual independent data. If they're claiming 90% accuracy, demand to see the proof. And Step 3, demand public effectiveness audits. If a system is generating 90% false positives, your city council desperately needs to know they are wasting taxpayer money and potentially risking civilian safety.
You've seen the data. You've seen the massive breakdown in oversight. And here at the Human Error News Network, our entire job is to ask the really hard questions. So I'll leave you with this. If an entire surveillance program, a multi-$1,000 contract, can totally collapse simply because an administrator misspelled Orange Avenue, what exactly is hiding in your city's budget? What unapproved tech is quietly sitting on the utility pole right outside your house right now?